it was successful, and then but it kept growing and it stayed. It stayed. After a while, I started to think about, well, one really should think about a sequel, and that we tried 5 years ago, and it defeated us, and then it restarted the engine about 2 years ago, actually. I think 2 years ago. I suddenly had this very simple idea that why not, let's do this, why not follow the demise of Lucius and where he went to, because he was the one living factor from the original film, apart from his mother, Connie, Lucilla. Well, when you're put out into the woods by your mother to say, go with this man, he will look after you, you're sending him into the wilderness where you will eventually, within a day or two, lose track of him completely forever. So there's that to it. Then he turned up one day, years, months later. When you live off the desert by yourself, you become a toughened entity yourself. You become independent. So in a way, that's his education. So by the time he's a teen, he can really look after himself. So by the time he settles in, wanders into the walls of Namibia, no one has any idea as a Prince of Rome. He involves himself in the most likely thing to do, to join the army. The only problem is with him is he's reddish hair and blue eye. So he's a stranger in a strange land. That's where we find him. She has been a survivor because she is such a blue blood, probably the bluest in Roman history, being the daughter of Marcus Aurelius. So when a son comes on in the arena with a beard and with long hair, there's no way she's going to recognize Lucius. It's only the habits that ring a bell with her that can be in the DNA from the father, Maximus, whose habit was to pick up dirt before he fought, because in that earth you may die. Denzel said, you really want me? Okay, boom, that's it. And Denzel, I draw a lot. I can really draw. And so my drawing is my textbook. And so I tend to draw every film I do as storyboards. They're not stick figures. Every film I do is like a detailed comic. And I literally will draw every scene. So I already started to draw Denzel how I saw him. So I tend to cast people. I usually have a physical type in my head. And when you're drawing, you're already starting to see people in the role. And so my drawing is more than my sketchbook, it's my plan. It's my blueprint. Music to me is language, and it's the final dialogue, and you're writing a new language which is appropriate for the film and gives the film that added dynamic as and when you may need it, right? And sometimes silence is music. To say, I don't want music, this is silent here. Silence is music. It's a statement, a sound statement. Arthur's like, the expert, by now he's the expert on medieval architecture, medieval Rome, and anything period I tend to jump on. I'll say, oh, here we go, Arthur. Here we go again. But Arthur is, in a way, I was a production designer, and Arthur, to me, is one of the best I've ever worked with, without question.